Hello, friends. Welcome to the Ancient Health Podcast. I'm here with my friend Frank Elaridi. I haven't seen him since the last time he was in Nashville. Thank you, my brother, for coming here and hanging out and allowing me to come here and also exchange podcasts. Thank you so much.
Oh, man. Thank you. It was such an amazing conversation with you last time, too. Because I remember specifically you talking about having like Lyme and how you treated that and what you did. And I sent it to a lot of my friends who were dealing with Lyme. Yeah. And they really appreciated it.
I appreciate it because when our conversations, I was telling you before that when people had seen our conversations, they're like, does he, have like a teaching pattern, a teaching building? Like they literally thought, do you have like your own setup? And I was like, well, you're having your program and we want to talk about that. Yeah. And I remember individuals were thought, man, because your voice has that, the intonation and the way you carry, like it carries very smoothly, and people felt pretty comforted by that. So one thing that I am so glad that we got to come back together, because when Lindsay told me that you're available, I thought, because you're always traveling like all around the world. So from people who didn't see the first podcast, but you're a 4-time Emmy winning, basically you have interviewed so many people and you've done so much. Can you just tell us a synopsis about how you're in that life and what brought you into the life of like doing what you do now?
Definitely, yeah. And it's so interesting too, because like that's always people's first question too, is like talk about where my journey to here. And it makes sense because I mean, look, we live in a dream. We're in a dream. And in that dream, it's like part of it is the stories. We like stories. It's like when you wake up from a dream the next day and you're like, okay, I have to tell you what happened last night in my dream, right? And you're like sharing it because it's like fun to recall a dream. So for me, it really is like, it feels like when I did my TED Talk, for example, my TEDx talk, and my friends were, I practiced it with my friends, and they were like, you don't have a single mention of ABC or your work at ABC News or Good Morning America. And I was like, oh, you're right. Like, it feels like a different life. So then I went through and added a story in the very beginning of me covering like a volcano eruption in Hawaii, right? But that's not something I would have like thought, because I'm so in the present now. And I'm like, so fixated on who I am in this moment and right now. But I get like that's part of the story, and people, I guess they like, you mentioned my program, which I do have now. And some people who joined when they're introducing themselves on the first day on our weekly calls were like, I've been following you since you were a journalist and you had short hair. And and they're like, it's so interesting to watch what you've done. And it's almost like it gives them permission to do the same.
Truly.
Like, you can break free from the golden handcuffs of whatever life you're living. And or if you don't want to, that's great too. But for people who do want to, I think it's inspirational to see somebody else has done it.
That's right.
Right.
When you, with that inspiration to help people like unwind themselves, I guess, because when I saw you with shorter hair, seriously, I'm not saying you look completely different, but you had a different energetic appearance, in my opinion, though. Yeah. And so when you started to make the shift, I think one of the profound shifts that you could see that you went from that life, because you were telling me that you were always on the go. On a split second, you had to go somewhere and interview like these big high profile people. And then you started to go into this journey of self-inward reflection. Is that what happened? Was there an event or something that caused you to move that way? Or you've always been that way?
Always been that way. Yeah, it wasn't like there was a catalyst or anything. Yeah. I mean, there's been many catalysts in my life for sure, spiritual ones for sure. Last night there was one we just talked about, right?
Yeah.
I didn't even know if I was going to be functioning today after that, honestly.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is like we were at dinner last night, you and I, with Sarah Jane Ho, a mutual friend, And I was telling you guys how like we could have been having dinner and I would get a call from ABC News and they'd be like, there's Kim Jong-un is going to bomb, or says he's going to bomb North Korea. You need to go. And they would send me to Guam. And I would literally be like, sorry guys, I have to go. And there would be a go bag in my car. And I would pick up everything and just leave. And on the way to the airport, I'd be calling every appointment I have, like every doctor's appointment, every dentist, anything scheduled for that week, and cancel it all or reschedule it all. And that was my life for like 12 years. And like you said, I mean, I won 4 Emmys. Life was amazing. I interviewed every royal, celebrity, president, everyday hero, I was at every natural disaster. I mean, you name it. I was at the forefront of it all. And but my nervous system was messed up. It really was overstimulated. Yeah. I mean, imagine how like when you watch a movie or even just watch the news, how overstimulated you get.
Yes.
I was like there. You know what I mean? I'd be like at the thing. And so the first couple of years was just like of me leaving was re-regulating my nervous system, getting 10 hours of sleep every night, blue light glasses, no blue light after 6 p.m. I'd put my phone, I still do, put my phone on airplane mode as soon as the sun goes down.
Yeah.
I wake up at like 5 or 6 a.m. and I don't even look at my phone until about 10 a.m. And so like I now my life is so wildly different.
Yeah.
And it's interesting too, because if anybody listening has pets at home, you start to see how they can notice it too. Like my pets now, I mean,
Really?
they are not so stimulated because they're not living with somebody who's so on edge. You know what I mean?
So they're more calm.
Oh yeah, and you can see it, and they just want to constantly be around me. Not that they didn't before, but like I have 2 cats. Like cats kind of keep to themselves, people say.
Yeah.
But it's not true. Like when my nervous system got regulated, now they're just constantly want to be around me, like every second of the day.
So they felt that energy because whenever you were, I was going to ask you that, always being in a constant fight or flight situation, was that always in the back of your mind? Like for people out there that are always on the go, always running, and they're like telling themselves like, one day I'm going to calm down and slow down. But finally, did that catch up in your subconscious, or like, did that come to you?
I would love to talk about, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
Instead of even that, like to give people a takeaway, is like, what's more important, I think, than my story is like this teaching that I've had to learn of like, because you say it like one day. For anybody listening, there is no one day. There's only now. And we can understand that logically because I did for years. Like, so when I was a journalist and I was working with shamans in my private time, I was like with shamans in Peru, in Mexico. I was with the biggest Indian gurus in the world. I was with Gregorian monks. I mean, I soaked it all in and I learned from all of them because all of them would tell me, you're a healer. And I was so stubborn. I was like, no, I'm a journalist. I did not want to be a healer at all. But they were all so adamant that I learned and that I enhance this. But, I understood it as a concept and I would even say it, oh, we're all one. There's only now. When you get it as an experience, it will shake you to the core and you can't ever unsee it. Wow. You don't ever go back after that. When you know like the now, you'll never, it's not a concept anymore. And what I mean by that is like guilt, Jesus would always talk about forgiveness, right? And that's like such a big thing in Christianity, but most people don't understand what that even means.
Yeah.
At all.
Yes. What would
they have no idea.
They don't know.
The thing is, forgiveness itself is a dream. Forgiveness is an illusion. God doesn't forgive because God has never condemned you in the first place. That is a dream that there is something that we need to be forgiven for. But the mind, which is not you, you're the witness of the mind. You're the one witnessing the mind. You're not Chris Motley. Like how can you think that we're in a dream? Because everybody says we're in a dream. This is a simulation, but not think that you also are the dream. You are not the dreamer.
I'm not.
You are the dream of the dreamer.
I'm soaking this in because I got to keep going.
So Chris Motley is part of the dream. Frank Elaridi, this fictitious character, is a dream. And within that dream, we have the mind, right? And the mind is so useful. It's the reason why I can talk to you right now. So I don't believe in like, oh, dissolve the mind. That's a very new age, like spirituality thing. Like if you dissolve the mind, you're going to drive off a cliff. Like you need the mind to keep you doing things, right?
Yeah.
But not to believe I am the mind. The mind is a tool for you.
The mind is a tool for you while you're in the dream.
In the dream. You are not like the mind. You're the one witnessing the mind. So when it has so let me go back to forgiveness, right?
Yeah.
The mind wants guilt to be real. For sure. Because guilt keeps linear time as a real thing. So
Guilt keeps time.
Why is that? Because if there must be a past if you believe that you are guilty of something or someone else is guilty, they did this to me, they did that to me, it keeps the past real in your mind. And then it makes the future real because now you need a future to atone for the past. Oh. So it keeps the ego mind very strong to believe in guilt. And that's why forgiveness is so powerful because you start to see glimpses of reality when you forgive a brother or you forgive somebody else. You're like, I forgive this person. I'm not willing to see the illusion. I'm not willing to see you as guilty because I only see this present moment. And in this present moment, you are perfect. You are eternal. You are this perfect witness, which is like the spirit, right?
Yes. Yeah.
is you are that. And so you're just witnessing the actions of the body and the mind and this and that. Then the other thing that guilt does is it makes God or creator or divine mother, whatever you call it, it makes it separate from you. The universe is separate because if I'm guilty, there must be something out there to punish me. So now you've just projected the idea of God outward when God was always unity. It's all, there's no separation, but the ego mind will create separation.
So it creates the separation
of like God is out there. And then it'll start giving it characteristics. It'll project onto it a father figure. Okay, well, my dad sometimes gets mad, so that means that one must also get mad. And sometimes is this. And so we just start creating this whole fictitious character of what God is based on our own understanding of what a parent would be like.
So we project our vision or thought of what God is or who God is because of what our experiences are.
Exactly. And that keeps also linear time real because, well, there must be a past to atone for and a future in which I will be punished or make up for the past.
So you said that if they go forward, like they go to the atonement part of it, that gives reality, like it's meaning for people because it keeps linear time real.
It makes time real. And there is no meaning though. That's the problem. See, who has meaning? Again, you need, this is how clever the mind is.
Yeah.
It's constantly doing that and you have to constantly catch it. Well, when you say meaning, well, who has meaning? Who has purpose? Only the ego. Oh, it's my purpose to have a podcast and teach people. No, that's all the ego giving you a purpose. You have no purpose but to be. Just be. Create the space and be in it. But you don't always need to fill that space with something. Like, I'll give you a good example of that too. Like, the last month I've just been really quiet.
Okay.
I've been like fully present inward and not even like quiet, like not talking, but I'm not allowing myself to be conditioned because I want all the knowledge that I share. Like what I just shared with you all, it's from internal wisdom. It's not borrowed knowledge. It's not like I'll read it in a book and or heard somebody say it and now I'm sharing it with you, you know? If I don't want borrowed knowledge anymore, we have the answer to everything. Our spirit knows everything. So when we get quiet and we really sit with it, and the biggest thing is like being present,
being present.
And
so
just bring it back. Then all that info is there. It's all now.
So if a person is present and they realize
is aware of presence,
you
can't be anywhere else. Try to not be present. Where would you be? Your mind can take you to the past and present, imagining something, but people say be present. Where else could you be?
You can't be because you have to be here. So if you are present, no, this is a really profound.
Just aware that you're present.
So that would actually, is it a practice? What would be the practice you would suggest to somebody to actually learn how to be present? Because that's what you say. I'm butchering this, guys. I'm just saying. But if they practice being present, it's like letting go of that past, future. How would somebody do that, though?
Yeah, good question. Because there's a lot of ways. There's a lot of ways.
Yeah.
That's why there's Buddhism and Hinduism and Gregorian, even Christian monks that chant. Like there's so many different methods. There's one of my favorites is a book called A Course in Miracles.
Oh, I've heard that book.
Course in Miracles is absolutely incredible because of not so much the book, even though it's incredible, but the teachings. They have a workbook, so there's like a daily lesson every day, and it makes it really practical. So like it's like, okay, when the mind starts to wander, it says, "Say God Himself is incomplete without me," and it says when you do that, the mind will wander, but you won't follow it. You'll just stay present.
So if it's wandering, you can recognize when it's wandering,
and that's what you do. And you just go like, actually, I told Lindsay today, our friend, I said, just say, "Oh, that's a thought." Don't try to stop the thought. If you try to stop it, it gets bigger and louder because now you've agitated your mind and it's going to compete with you. So don't do that. Just go, "Oh, there's a thought." Like if I go, "Oh my God, what am I going to talk about with Chris tomorrow?" And instead of following down that rabbit hole, I just go, "Oh, there's a thought. I'm having a thought." So
you could say, "There's a thought." And so if you recognize it, is that a process of allowing something to like flow through you? So you're like, I'm not catching on to it?
Yeah, exactly. Or it's not even something to flow through you. It is actually you becoming aware of what you are. Your essence will become more and more clear when you silence the mind. And it will silence itself when you realizes you're not latching onto everything it says. It starts to kind of get quieter and give up on trying to pull your attention constantly.
So that way that to try to get you attentive
and to know it's your servant. It's not your leader, but it's been calling the shots for so long since you were born that you start to follow it with every little direction it pulls you, because you go, oh, I had this thought, oh, I had this feeling, instead of just noticing that you're witnessing a thought.
So when do you know, or what are, this is again, when do you know that your brain is wondering? Like, of course, if they have a thought, but are there little signals that you would say, if you're doing this, you know your mind is wondering? Like is it like somebody who's always living in the future? Like, because when you said, this is what's profound, like the other night you said, I don't even know what's going on in the world right now.
No idea.
No idea. And that is profound to me, because
Wow.
I don't mean to be, but I'm always in the mix. But now your cats are noticing it. But I guess what I'm asking is, when would you know? Like, somebody out there's listening and you go, if you're in this position, you are allowed, your mind is not here.
I mean, honestly, like one of the best ways to really stay present is to become aware of your breath. And so you can even just do something simple like breathe in for 4, hold it for 7, release it for 8, or pranayama. Do you know what this is? Like,
Yes, I've heard of it. I don't know it well, but I've heard of it.
It's just
yes.
alternate breath. So like alternate nostril breathing, which people can look up. But basically, you block one nostril, breathe in, let it out, and you always want to release first through the left nostril. So you're always like, first you start with an exhale from the left nostril, then you inhale through the left nostril, you switch your fingers, exhale through the right nostril, inhale through, and you just keep doing it over and over. There's a lot of demonstrations you can look up on YouTube or anywhere really. But what that does is, when you start doing that more and more, you start to notice when thoughts come in. But if you're watching Netflix, so when I told you I was, for the last like 30 days, I've been quiet. What I mean by, I haven't taken one phone call. I've not taken one phone call. I have not, like, not even my parents, nobody. I have not watched one thing on Netflix, YouTube, no podcasts, like zero. Nothing. The only thing, zero. Other than like, I work with my clients, because I work with clients every day as far with energy healing. And I talk to them, but other than that, I'm not like, it's been zero. No idle chatter and no music. If I'm working out, I'm just working out. If I'm cooking, I'm just cooking. And what happens, and this is what I mean, like, you'll start to notice, you'll be cooking, and then all of a sudden I'll have like a phone conversation with you in my head. And then I'm like, what am I, Frank, like, not even Frank, like, mind, what are you doing? Like, you're having a conversation with somebody in your head. It's not real. Come back. And then I'll just start cutting the carrots again. You know what I mean? And you just constantly, but what happens, the more you do it, little by little, every time you notice it, just do it. Whatever your practice is, do breath work, call it back, say an affirmation, whatever your method is, do that. And the more and more you do it, the more the mind will just not be able to control you anymore. And you'll start to really notice it when it comes up.
So that, to me, when you're talking about staying present by doing the nostril, I'm thinking, imagining that right now, that would bring you present. Like, I'm serious. That is,
even when I'm talking to you right now, I'm aware of my breath the whole time.
That's what I'm thinking. Be aware of your breath work. So that would bring you more in that centerpiece. So let's say you like not listening to music. Sure, seriously. Can a person, like you say, mantras, what would be the mantras? Like, you said Course in Miracles. Yeah. Are there mantras that you personally like though? I
mean, there's so many that I use, but Course in Miracles is great. Like the one I said, God himself is incomplete without me. Another, let's say like somebody's tempting you. Someone is tempting you to get angry with them. They cut you off, or they do something, they send you an email that you don't like. It is not this I will look upon. I trust my brother who is one with me. Like things like that. It is not this I would look upon. Because if I look at that, I am identifying you as Chris, as the mind, and not seeing you as the soul that you are, the witness to the mind.
The witness to the mind.
And that witness, by the way, is the same witness as me. Like there's only one thing here, and it is God or creator or whatever else. There's nothing else. The issue or the suffering comes from us believing that it's a separate thing, that I'm separate from you, that I'm separate from Chris who's filming this, that I'm separate from God or creator, and that was the separation is the source of all suffering.
That's what, with the suffering, when you say the separation, would that separation create sickness?
For sure. I mean, like I see it in my clients every day. So that's what I'm clearing all the time. So somebody will come with like an eating disorder, let's say of 15 years. And I just start clearing things from like, oh, you have abandonment, you're holding on to grief, you're holding on to this. And we clear it. And I can tell them exactly what year it got created, what happened. So, I told a woman the other day, at 25, you created a courting with your ex-husband. And she's like, 25 was like when we started to get really serious in dating. And I said, and at 27, you have another courting with him. And she had 27, we got married. Now, and I tell people all the time, I'm clearing illusions.
Illusions. So she had courting, you mean like a cord?
Yeah, an energetic cord.
So you're clearing illusions, like the illusion I would
Yeah.
say if they have it, I'll say imagination. I mean,
The thing is, like, it's an illusion. I have them too. Like, I was born in a civil war in Lebanon. So, like, a lot of times I'll clear something for myself. Like, I'm like, why do I have this thing? Like, let's say my leg starts shaking or whatever, or a spasm. I'm making that up. Like, something will happen, right?
Yeah.
And I'll go, I wonder what that is. And I'll look and it'll be like fear from the age of 0. And I'm like, age 0? That means like I was like less than 1 year old, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. I was until 8 months old, I was in a civil war and there was like bombs going off and all the time.
So you
right?
are you're aware of that the whole time.
Totally, yeah. And so, but I say like that's an illusion because that's still the dream and that my mind is holding on to. That's what I'm saying is that the mind will make the past real.
So if the past is real because the mind makes that, so you're saying too, in
So
essence,
I'm saying even my clearing is an illusion. Even though it's profound
that's one
and
that I was
amazing,
going to ask you. Yeah,
it's an illusion. And I think that so I have long hair, so like if people who are watching, so you can't really see, but I have a 38 tattoo behind my ear. And I met this woman she's been on my podcast now twice.
Who is it?
Her name is Gayatri, and she's a channeler, a medium, really powerful. I've sent so many people to her since. But she the first time she ever met me, and I had my hair down, and she says, when you turn 38, I've never told anybody about the number 38 ever. She said, when you turn 38, which actually is next year, she said, you'll start doing miracles and people will come from all over the world for a blessing. And you won't be doing the energy work that you're doing now. And I think she's right because more and more I'm starting to see that even my energy work, even though it is like, I'll have people like that woman I told you about with an eating disorder, for example, like last week, she was crying on the Zoom call for our follow-up. And she said, Frank, I know you keep saying 38 is when you'll do the miracles, but I want you to know you're doing them now. I have been starving myself for 15 or 18 years. And she's like, and now I'm eating porridge. I'm eating carbs and I love it. And I'm so happy. And she said, me and her and her husband, she said, we've been having like earth-shattering fights every single day since we got married 10 years ago. Not one day where we're not having an earth-shattering fight. She's like, it's been 4 weeks and we have not fought once. And she's like, in fact, she's like, it's boring. We have nothing left to talk about. She's like, can you please put some of the fights back? She's like, can you bring some of the arguments back? And I was like, sorry, But it's so funny because it's like, even that though, I'm saying like, I still have to come down and meet you at your illusion level to make that happen. And I think what will happen when I turn 38 is that that's not even happening anymore. I no longer will have to identify your illusion. No longer have to meet you there.
Really? So
I don't know yet how that'll look, but yeah. And it's I believe Gaia because she said when you turn 38, and I had that 38 tattoo behind my ear. I've had it for like 15 years because I've always known that when I turn 38, something will happen, but I never knew why.
38 15 years ago, and then she said that.
I've had this for 15 years, and it went deeper because my name is Frank, as you know. That's my middle name, and my first name, my birth name is Firas. And I've not once at that point, this was 2 years ago, not once had I ever shared that publicly. It was never out there. There's no way anybody would have known it. And she said in that same session, she said, the way these miracles will happen, in order for them to happen, you have to embrace the name you had in ancient Persia. And your name in that life was Firas, and you were a healer. And I said, Gaia,
that's your name.
This is my name in this life. And she's like, well, you need to start embodying it. So ever since then, all my clients call me Firas. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I know we just covered a lot, right?
No, I okay. So my next thought is like, this is great because with the conversation so as you go 38,
yeah,
and it's what she had told you, what do you see like with your voice? And maybe this is steer me down another path. I'm going down the wrong one. But like with your voice being able to help people, like so you're saying you are clearing illusions out of individuals, by breaking cords. But are you more looking at your voice doing more of the healing or speaking into people's lives, or I mean, I hope that's not too much of a
you're right.
question.
I actually don't know. And that's the thing is I actually am trying not to figure it out. Because even Gaia said, the more you try, because you know what would happen, Chris? I would see people in like a wheelchair, right?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, okay, come on. Like, I'm ready. I want to do this miracle. Let's do it,
Yeah.
And I'd be like out in public, like, okay, how is this going to look? Like, do I just say, get up and walk? Like, what happens,
Whoa.
And so, and she said, stop trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
It'll happen. And it was so interesting too, because I'm starting to get like hints in my dreams and things like that. Or I'll be waking up, jolted awake from a dream. And it'll be like, and immediately, like, I'll call it my guides, but I don't really know. My guides will be like, right now, answer the question, who is breathing? Ask yourself, who is breathing?
Who is breathing?
Like, it'll be things like that. And I'm starting to get the lessons. But yeah, who is breathing? This happened like a few weeks ago. And I said, me. And it was like, but who is me? Who's breathing? And I said, my consciousness is making the body breathe. And they said, no. who is breathing? And I said, oh, the body, it's an automatic process. And the answer was yes, it's an automatic process. So if it's an automatic process, right?
Yeah.
It's just happening.
Yeah.
And then when the body dies, that's why it stops breathing, because it was an automatic process. But the eternal soul that was witnessing that body breathing continues.
It continues.
But if the consciousness was the one that was breathing, well, then that body would continue to breathe when it died. But it doesn't. It doesn't continue to breathe because it was never you. That's not you.
So the consciousness continues to exist, but the automatic...
And it's witnessing everything. It witnesses, it looks at the body. It's watching it die.
Is that why people, when they do near death, they come up above their body? Is that
probably?
Why?
And I've never done near death. So I mean, I've never watched any of those, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But I hear a lot about them. Ooh. So I'm assuming. But I was at the Monroe Institute recently, a few months ago. Yeah, really amazing in the Blue Ridge Mountains, close to you.
Go ahead. I'll say it. But
go ahead.
I had I knew a doctor friend, a colleague, who went to Monroe Institute, and this is a long time when I didn't. I'm just obviously I'm just really mechanical in some ways. I just look at acupuncture points, and of course, but one of my friends, he had gone there and he said that he had met some individuals that could do like out of body.
So that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Things. And they would say that the sisters, they would learn how to go to other parts of a country or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, you can go to, it starts that way. And then it's like, you're going to other planets, and then you're going to other dimensions, like way beyond space and time. And for people who don't know, the Monroe Institute, actually, it's funny we're bringing that up because my editor sent me the video today of like my experience there that I shot. And I just watched it this morning, but it's going to be incredible. It'll be on my YouTube channel next week, actually.
So you went there, you videotaped.
Oh, yeah. I didn't video a lot there because I really wanted to be in the experience. But after, I made a video about my experience. And I mean, the stuff that was happening there was just unexplainable.
Yeah.
And it is really, they help you go beyond space and time. And for people who don't know, this is where the CIA, this is what made them like put them on the map. Because in the 90s, the CIA released classified documents. So they made them declassified that showed that during the Cold War, they were sending psychic spies to learn from the Monroe Institute. And even beyond, like some people believe that they're still doing it. Others believe that the program has ended, but it was called Project Stargate.
I've heard of Stargate.
So that was Monroe Institute. And I interviewed in my video too, Joe McMoneagle, who was, and it's 222 as we say that. It's 222 is the time right now.
Yeah.
I just happened to look over. But Joe McMoneagle was Agent 001. And I've had another remote viewer on my show as well. And they can really see beyond space and time.
So with that, when a person, they were talking about CIA, and I'm not acting anybody about like I'm a CIA expert or anything of that sort, but they could remote view. I heard that one of my friends also had on his podcast about a remote viewer that they said they would go to military installations. Oh yeah. And there were military guys who were practiced in that, and they would basically find that there were people who were, they would remote view, and there are people that were trained to intercept them.
I would be shocked if the Russians, even all of them, weren't doing that with each other, like psychic spies. You know what I mean? Like encountering each other and blah. In fact, it's funny you say that because there was something that was declassified about that.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what exactly it was called, but I think it was this. Yeah, the CIA had these like witches. Basically, that they brought.
I heard about that.
Did you see this? Where they were literally like testing them of like, okay, pick an individual that's like an enemy of the state or whatever, and make them sick, and they would all focus their energies, and the person would die like weeks later or whatever it was. I don't want to be misquoted, but somebody sent me this report, and I went through it, and I thought, whoa, this is really interesting.
Because that's what I was really intrigued about. Because I know that we both have like friends that are different podcast realms, and one of the guys I know that he had some individuals who were like CIA military, and some of these top like military guys were talking about how CIA and certain military would use their remote viewers to find bases.
Oh yeah, I mean Joe McMoneagle, who I mentioned, was not just a remote viewer; he was a highly decorated military guy.
That's the thing.
Highly decorated.
That's what got me was that these very high ranking military are very into like because when we see people that are in a realm like
totally, they look like me. They're like hippies.
They'll go, oh, that's weird. I'm like, no, the military uses those kind of individuals.
Yeah.
So when did you think? Well, do you think that the military or CIA? I'm not trying to go down that route. When we talk about healing, did they see that there is not only a way to use it to find bases or something, but they also say there's ways to heal with it as well too.
I mean, there's got to be, because you have to think about too, like by the time we know something, it's declassified.
Yeah.
They would only do that if they were like 100 years ahead of that at that point.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, okay,
yeah.
by the time we know about things like MK Ultra, if you don't know, like look that up. If by the time we know about that, psychic control, anything else, they're already like years ahead of that.
They've already done it for
Been there,
so
done
long.
that. Yeah, yeah. And they're like on to the next thing that we have no idea about. And I'm not mad at them either. I'm not like somebody who's like a conspiracy person where I think everything is malefic and meant to hurt us. Like you actually probably are not ready to know everything. Number one, and number two, like not everything is like so malicious. I do feel like it's going back to the mind, right? If people talk about the 1% and like this clandestine shadow government, all this stuff. They're also, just like everybody else, probably lost in delusion and in the mind and wanting to maintain control. But what is control? Who are you? If somebody like really wants to be in power, well, who's in power really? You're a dream in a dream.
So you're a
what
dream.
do you really have? Like, manifest was the number one word in the dictionary last year. I don't know if you know this. So every year the dictionary chooses like one word that was like the highest used word. Last year in 2024, it was the word manifest. So people are really interested in that now. But why? Because people are so interested in making this dream comfortable. But who are you making it comfortable for? For the mind. So you're really here just serving your ego. What a waste of a life. So you manifested a yacht? Cool. Like, do you take that with you when you go? No. And also you manifested something in a dream. You can never manifest anything real. You can only manifest unreal, which is, anything you manifest can be destroyed. A house, it can be, burned down. Your yacht can sink. Like you will never manifest anything eternal. My goal here is not to manifest a yacht or a boat or whatever. All those things are great. If you get them, cool. I've been on so many private jets and had amazing life experiences, and I love all of them. I enjoy being in the dream. It's great. But my only thing I'm fixated on night and day, the only thing I think about is spiritual liberation, because that's eternal.
So that would mean like when somebody manifests something that's not eternal, completely part of the illusion.
Yeah.
So you're preparing your body or preparing your life for when you do consciously, you're holding, you like the parts of the dream, but you're like, I'm letting go. I'm learning how to let go. That's what you're like. I
mean, I'm not focused at all on manifesting. I don't do that. I'm not into it. I don't like it. I feel like, great, if you want to be a manifester, it's cool. It's like you're a wizard or you're a witch, but don't call it spiritual.
Oh.
But if that's what you want to do, that's cool too. Why not? We
yeah.
can manifest. We are like really powerful spiritual beings. The mind can manifest. We know that. Quantum physics is saying that now. Like we can do that.
Yes.
I just feel like it's a waste of time. I want to use that energy towards spiritual liberation.
So instead of you using the energy like a battery to go into just manifestation, because you're like, I want to get a yacht, I want to get a thing, and you're like, but you're in the illusion, or you're saying you can't take that to you because you're basically part of the consciousness looking down your body, the mechanics.
And even looking down would be too much. I mean, if that's the visual, that helps, but it's not even looking down, looking up. It's not like God's up there, I'm down here. It's all here. There's only here. There's only now.
That's why. So it's only now, when you say looking up, looking down, is that?
It's like, here, this is the best way to say it. I get what
you're saying. Yeah.
I think what happens if like, we think it's outside because we think we are in the universe, right? The universe is in you. And I don't mean in you, in Chris. Because again, like I said, this is a dream. So this dream is within consciousness.
Oh, so the dream is
I'm going to go into an ecstatic state if we keep talking about this.
Okay. So well, let's do this.
I'll get lost. Yeah.
This is like really, okay. So let's do this. Okay. So I think it's really good conversation. So
the best thing we can talk about too is like the program.
That's exactly what I was about to go into.
Because this is the place where we cultivate this every week with people, and people are having these insane breakthroughs every single week. It's wild.
And so that's for the program.
Yeah.
So I saw on Instagram and your social media that you're creating a program now because you're shifting to this new program where you're going to help a lot of individuals. Explain what you're going to do in that.
So, like in all my sessions, I started to see people would be like executives at Silicon Valley.
Yes, so many people.
First ladies of countries, like all these people who are coming to see me. And they're like, but I think I'm a healer, Frank. Like, I think I'm meant to heal. Or they'll say like, how do I maintain all this? Like, how do I maintain the work that you're doing with me? How do I not get back, like stuck into create more illusions that I need to come back to you to clear? And I started to realize like, I'm going to start a course, And the way that I work is I don't go, okay, now I'm going to create a course. I just sit there and I go, I think it's time for a course. And I just start to witness reality start to shape that. And so somebody came to me and was like, hey, can I start doing your marketing and work with you and blah, blah. And I said, how about we create a course? And turns out the person's an expert at it, creates the course for me. Like everything just happened naturally, you know? I even in the last, like in that time, in the 30 days that I've been just sitting in my space that I created, like I told you, without trying to fill it with a Netflix show or a YouTube video or whatever else, or a phone call with a friend while I cook, just being in that space. I wrote a book, fiction book, 4 years ago. So I published an Oracle deck in 2021 with these amazing friends. We all wrote it together, really incredible people. And I wrote it with them. And it was this amazing Oracle deck that we did through Chronicle Books. And it was everywhere, at every bookstore, Anthropology, Urban Outfitters. It was amazing. But the next book, everybody wanted me to write was spiritual. And I was like, but I want to write a fiction book. I really do. But nobody wants to hear or wanted to read a fiction book from me. They're like, oh, well, like all the publishers were like, well, when you write a book about spirituality, let us know. And
after you did the spiritual, they were saying, okay.
Yeah. So then I was like, okay. So I did nothing with this book that I wrote called Valley Girl Magic. I wrote it and I just sat with it. You know, it was a fiction book about these girls in the Valley here in California who are like really, popular heiresses, but they actually do magic. You know, it was like a fun book that I wrote, and I shelved it, did nothing with it. Now, cut to 4 years later, I'm sitting there in this space that I created, just in total bliss, and I get a phone call from one of the biggest publishers in the world, and they said, hey, did you ever do anything with that book that you published? Because we think it'd be a good show, a TV show, and we'd love to publish it as a book and then turn it into a show. And as of last week, I signed that publishing deal, not looking for a publisher, don't even have an agent at the moment.
They just called you out of the blue.
Totally out of the blue. A publisher that I had never even originally pitched it to. They heard about it through a publishing company that my friends own. And they were like, we'd like to publish this book. So now that's happening. So I say that to say, now my third book that I'm writing is actually that. But all of this stuff that gets created is just literally from creating the space, letting spirit, I always say spirit, like, you know, people always say God's plan, right? Spirit has a plan that is so incredible. And when you step out of the way, this planning mind of yours, when it just steps away and says, I'm going to just witness the plan that spirit has and stop trying to like lucid dream within this dream and just let the dream happen, like miracles happen. And so one of those is this program that I created. And we just launched it. So there's like 30, 40 people in the program now, I think 40 maybe. And we're gonna, you know, it's evergreen. So anyone can join at any time, but there's like 45 modules that I recorded with like these lessons. And then, sorry, not 45 modules, 45 videos, 9 modules. And then every single week we have a live call. Like I'm sure I'll be tapping on you at one point to be like, hey, you want to join our call? Because we have these live calls every Sunday with the whole group where we will go down the rabbit hole on a topic or a practice, or like a big part of it, and why it's called Awaken the Healer Within. You know, you started the whole podcast asking me about going from journalist to what I'm doing now. So now a big part of this is helping other people do the same. So a massive part of this program is people who are like breathwork instructors or yoga teachers or whatever, or astrologers, therapists who are like holistic therapists. There's somebody in there who's an ER doctor. Like, so it's not necessarily that you have to be a healer, but if you do want to be a healer, the last module is all about how to build your brand, how to churn your healing abilities or your certification, if you're certified in acupuncture, whatever it is, how to turn that into a 6-figure business, how to get on podcasts, how to talk about it, how to get aligned clients, and then a big part of it is also strengthening your intuition. How to muscle test, which you see when I do my energy work, I'm doing a lot of muscle testing. So we teach people how to muscle test, which I've been doing for 20 years now. So there's so much in this program, whether it's like you just want to be somebody who, everything I've said today on this podcast, if you want to really enforce this into your life and actually live it and be the miracle, not wait for a miracle, be the miracle. Let go of your history, let go of the story, let go of all these attachments. I do live clearings every Sunday too with the group. So I'm like, literally, who wants a clearing today? And we're just clearing people, you know? So it's really an amazing cultivation of this group.
And when they're together, and when you say they have ER docs, and you have all these individuals that are coming, when you say you become the healer,
and they, by the way, work on each other. It's really amazing.
Yeah.
Like people will on that call be like, oh, by the way, Paul did a session on me last week, or or Neil did a session on me last week, and they start talking about their experience with each other. It's really amazing.
So it becomes a community.
It becomes
people.
an amazing community. We have an app too, so
You got an app as well.
and it's all on there. It's not my app. The app is called The Circle, where they host apps. I mean, they host communities. So they host our community, and it's just amazing.
Wow. So when the individuals who are different realms, ER doc, natural therapists, is it good for them? Like they're realizing that they're not in the present, that they're part of the illusion. So they're in a realm in their world. They're like, I know what this is about, and there's probably not many people in their world.
Oh, imagine you're doing surgery too. Like you're just so in the present moment, you're fixed on it. And also maybe like the adrenaline goes down, whatever it is. These practices are incredible. Some of them, one of them, by the way, really incredible story. Her name is Reina. Yeah. She's amazing. She's like so young too. I think she's like 23 or 24, and she's in this program. And her dad's been my client for a long time too, 3 years now, a very regular client, friend even now. And Reina, she's happy for me to share this because she's talked about it to me publicly. But she started all of a sudden, her hands get really hot. And the crazy thing is, I've never told anybody in that group, but my hands get really hot. And when I'm doing my sessions, your hands get hot too, by the way. You mentioned it at dinner last night.
My hands get super hot.
Get so hot before every single session.
Yep.
Right before I'm about to start, they start getting on fire.
Yep.
And I'm actually born in Vedic astrology under a star called Hasta. It'd be interesting if you are too, which means healing hands. That's the star that I was born under.
Really?
And it means that you'll heal with your hands. And you might have that as well. But she all of a sudden, after doing my course, and not after, because it's an evergreen course, by the way, you sign up and you're in it for life.
Whoa.
And I don't know how long we'll keep that way. It might become subscription later, but for now it's like you're in it, right? You're grandfathered in.
Yeah.
And if you ever need those modules, they're available to you anytime, the weekly calls anytime. But she did one of the modules, module 3. She said she did it like 3 or 4 times. And after that, her hands started heating up. She said her mom was in so much pain, and they actually live near you. They're near Nashville.
Really?
And yeah. And she was going to chiropractors, everything, nothing would help. And she said, Reina, can you just try to work on me? You said your hands are getting hot. And all of a sudden, she said 90% within the first session of her daughter, 24-year-old girl, not a practitioner of any kind, working on her mom. Her mom was healed within 90%. And then she said by the next morning, she did it again, 100% gone, has not had the pain since, and on her neck. And then she's the girl, Reina, is a photographer, like a wedding photographer, things like that, graduation, things like that. And all of a sudden, she's showing me these photos that she's starting to take, and there's light, completely unedited. A girl with she's holding her belly because she's pregnant, and you look at the photo, and there's 3 or 4 lights like in a line right where the baby is.
Where the baby is.
Yeah, and then another couple, they're kind of like looking at each other in love, and in between them, there's literally a light mushroom, a shape of a mushroom in a light, full bright reddish orange light. Right between them, like where their faces meet. And she's like, Frank, it's completely unedited. So like things are starting to show up in her life and in all the other people, all the students in the class. It's really amazing. There's one woman, she's Ukrainian, and I didn't know she was. She's from San Francisco. She's joining the call from San Francisco. And we're doing a clearing for her in front of everybody. I said, by the way, I'm sorry. Spirit's telling me to tell you. I say telling me because I don't know how to explain it. I don't hear voices. Yeah. I'm not clairvoyant or clairaudient at all. Well, I don't know yet. I'm claircognizant. So I just know things, and I don't know how or where I know them. And I said, Spirit's telling me to tell you, you need sunflower seeds. Eat sunflower seeds. And I don't know why, because it's not medical. I said, it's not a medical advice. It's not like there's some medical property in it. It's something you need to have sunflower seeds. And she just starts crying. And she said, last night, I've really been missing Ukraine because I'm from there and I can't go back. And she said, and we're known for sunflower seeds. That's our national treasure is sunflower seeds. So things are starting to happen in that community. And I told everybody, so anybody listening now, if you decide to join, because the course is called Awaken the Healer Within. And you don't have to be a healer or even want to be, but the reason I tell even like that story and everything else is that I told everybody on day 1, you don't know why you're in this course. You might think, and your mind will tell you, I'm an astrologer and I want to build my practice, or I want to have direct communication with Frank because they all have access to me, whatever it is, that's the mind giving you your reason, but Spirit has a plan you don't even know of yet. And I don't know why I'm teaching this course.
You don't know why.
I don't know why I'm teaching it. It will be revealed later, I'm sure. Spirit will reveal why it had me doing this and why it was all, what it was all for. I don't know. I just listen to my guidance. Spirit says do a course, I do a course. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Just like I wrote the book. I don't know why. I wrote the book. I shelved it. 4 years later, somebody's like, hey, we need to publish this book. I'm sure there's something in all of that. But I just I don't interfere. I try as much as I can to not intervene. The mind is useful. We need it, right? Like I'm not trying to say dissolve your mind. Don't dissolve your mind. You need it. I need it for this podcast interview. I have to engage it. Yeah. Just don't believe that you are the mind. It's like, imagine you're a farmer and you're like, you have a tool, right? You have a shovel.
Yeah.
You're going to polish the shovel for sure. You're going to keep it in a place where it's not going to get rusty in the rain. You're going to take care of it and you're going to bring it out when you need it. But the farmer doesn't go, this is me. When they're shoveling, they're not thinking this is me. They're just like, this is an extension of me right now. I'm using it and I'll put it away when it's not needed.
That's a great analogy though. And so when you feel that you're in this group and you're feeling like they get impressions, like you have impressions, are there stories of people, like you just said with the hot hands, healing hands, that individuals are saying, hey, I know like there's some, I'm getting more in contact with the present and I know what I'm supposed to do?
Oh, yeah. It's I mean, there's like too many stories to even say.
To even like go down that path.
And you know, one woman, she was on this last Sunday. And she was like, you know, because she had just joined, she's new, and she does like facials. She's an esthetician.
Yeah.
So, but she's also a Reiki healer. And she was like, Frank, she's been 20 years certified now. And I don't know anything about Reiki because I've never done it or been certified in it. But she says that she's like, when she's doing the work, she's also sending Reiki energy. And so she considers herself, and she is a healer. Now she's like, but you know, I joined the course and I'm like second guessing. I don't know if this is right for me. I don't know if I'm supposed to be doing this. And she said she was thinking that right before. And then she said her friend reminded her, one of her clients actually she came in for a facial like a month before and said, hey, she's a medium, a channeler. And she said, I have a message for you. You're going to join a course, or you might have just joined one. And the woman said, no, I didn't join one. She says, are you thinking about joining one? She said, no. She said, okay, well, I think you're joining one and you're going to second guess it. You're going to think that you made the wrong choice, but you did not. Like, it's the right choice. Trust it. But she had forgotten that the woman told her that.
But she got reminded.
So then she's in the course like day one. And she said that the woman came in the day before being in the course on the first day for another facial. And she said, oh, hey, by the way, I joined a course. And she said, yeah, I told you last time that you were going to join a course and that you would second guess it. And she said, oh my God, you're right. Like that did happen. And I was second guessing it, but okay, I'll trust.
You trust.
So if anybody's listening and like they feel the call and they don't know why, trust. It's not you that's telling you to do it. It's your mind. I mean, it's not your mind. It's something bigger than that.
So what are the first, I mean, we're going to like the program. I have this thought in my head, like I need to ask you, but like, what are some of the first things in your first videos of like some of the practices you say, these are how I would suggest you train to get into the present?
You know, we don't even start with that.
Okay.
What's so amazing is first module is all about food and water.
Really?
And it's crazy because I always tell people like, you need to prepare the vessel for the information I'm going to share with you. You don't just jump into that. It can be jarring for the body. So the whole first thing is prepare your vessel.
Yeah.
Prepare the vessel to receive this, you know?
Prepare the vessel.
And so it's all about like, you know, it's really cool because one of the stuff is drinking only out of copper or glass. And so everybody, and I show them in the videos and I'm using it. Also how to like use water as an oracle to get information, how to pray over water and drink it to heal. Like there's so much in just water and food alone. And we really are always, I shouldn't say always, and I shouldn't say we, a lot of people are unconsciously eating and drinking. Just like we're unconsciously breathing, just like we're unconsciously thinking. Like be more conscious. And that's what this whole class is about. But a big part of like, module one is like food and water. And so it's so cool. And it's actually really cute too, because a lot of them you'll see that they did module one. And then in the second group call, they're all like, look, Frank. And like, they're all showing each other, I'm drinking out of copper. I'm drinking out of copper. It came. And like, they're really embracing these practices.
Yes.
And it's so cool to see them living it. And then you might forget. And that's why we have the weekly calls, because like it's so easy, and not to throw, actually I won't even use names, but there's a lot of really big people out there now. And I say, look, I love that you go to their things, and these people are selling out 10,000 people, 5,000 people programs. My clients, a lot of them have done it. Some of them have spent $100,000 for a 1 year and they go, Frank, I don't even use it. Or if I do, they're like, I'm getting more from like a 30-minute session, hour session with you. And it's because we're getting to the root of it. But what I'll say about those programs is like, they're amazing, right? But a lot of times people, and I'm not saying this to knock them down, but they're motivational speakers. They're not spiritual teachers. And so what happens is you feel really good when you're in it. And then like a month later, 2 months later, you feel like, oh my God, I need to go to the next retreat because you've lost it. What I want to teach people is permanence. Like access this state of consciousness that is always available to you. And that's why we have the weekly calls, because you start to maybe lose it or forget it. And okay, come back in. Like, here we go. We're here to back and reinforce it, you know,
And-
hold you accountable, help you, inspire you.
And when you get inspired,
Yeah.
because, you know, if they do go to get on, I'll say a dopamine high from these
Yeah.
programs, and they just sort of like get addicted. Because I've known some individuals who've done different big programs,
Yeah.
paying pretty good amount of money.
And they get addicted, like you said. And you know
They
what?
go to every single
These
one.
people have very rich clients. And that's why these people can really keep, I mean, I have clients who are going to on their private jet to every single place this person goes, and they'll just follow them from country to country to country and go to all their retreats. But it's because they're really wanting to maintain that. And then look, I'm not against it, by the way. We need all these teachers. We need them.
Yeah.
We need the people that can teach you like that kind of a meditation or this kind of a breath work or that kind of a whatever. But what I'm saying is, like you said, it does get really expensive. But also like with this program, it's like, do those things, like do them all, right?
Yeah.
If you can, why not? If you've got it and you've got the resources, do them. But then this is your weekly thing to really ground it and integrate it into your life and make it practical. Because in
Yes.
those, they're on such a high and they are healing. They're doing amazing things. I've heard stories. My friend, Emilio, has a really big podcast too. And Just Tap In, it's called. And Emilio, his girlfriend, her dad healed at a retreat from one of these people of cancer. I think it was like stage 3 or 4, and went
Heavens.
into remission. So I'm not knocking them down as a like,
No, I don't get that
Like
from you
it's
at all.
amazing, but it's also, like you said, they get addicted, and you have to always want to go to that. And how do you now take this practice home instead of just going to that, like to the high of it? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
because that's one thing I noticed, that if they did get the high, which I always wondered if it's the repetitive, like going to the courses, I've noticed that some individuals, like friends, they backed off, but they did learn what they needed to from the
Right,
course. And they
right.
did, and some were like, I said, I don't think
I mean,
it was,
even if you get scammed, I have bought courses before for $6,000 or $7,000 and never got anything out of it, didn't resonate with it at all, things like that. And I still, to this day, don't knock it. I go, you know what? There was something in that I must have grasped or taken or
That's-
learned.
exactly.
You know?
I always tell myself, it's like, if you get 10% of something that
Right.
you needed, you got it.
You got it.
And when I find that, even like I have a small membership and we meet every week, and to me it's really sweet because it's the camaraderie and it's the community of people who realize that I'm not alone.
Yeah.
And for them, that's enough. I mean, in the sense where like they feel comfortable, but I wonder that like big part of their healing is just knowing, not like they're depending on other people to get their energy or anything, but they realize, you know, there's advice, there's their community. So when you have this new program come together, where do you see it going? Like, where do you see your life and your pattern
good
going?
question, because that's what I'm like waiting for Spirit to reveal.
Yeah.
Because I see myself in Europe probably in the next 3 or 4 years with like a healing center there or a community place, like where people come from, whether it's for retreats, whether there's volunteers that live there year round. Like if you need peace, that might be a place where you come here and you volunteer, or you could go there for a retreat, whatever it is. So I wonder if this was Spirit's intention of me having this community now to set the stage for that in 3 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
I don't know.
When you do that for your life, when somebody out there's listening and say this, since you're listening to Spirit, like the idea of value, as in if you say this will add value to people's life, and this is me asking, like, is that a part of the illusion or part of the, you know what I mean? When you say value, it's just, but you can use things within the dream.
Yes.
To help you get to the next spot.
Yeah, like we said, like forgiveness, like we were talking about earlier.
So
Forgiveness
you
is
can
an
say
illusion, but you can still use that. And the mind, right? Like the mind. Use the mind to dissolve the mind. or to make it subservient or whatever, right? Like I don't want to dissolve the mind, but you know what I mean? Use the mind to dissolve the mind. Like it's like almost like an example I used in this book that I'm writing now, not the one that's getting published now, but the spiritual one that I'm writing.
Yeah.
I'm like almost done with that too. This will be the third book. I say like in ancient Rome or in ancient India, even they would use dirt, like the ancient washers.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't have like, they basically had laundry mats where people would go and you would take like your finest silk and they'd wash it for you.
Yeah.
And these washers would actually use soil to get the soil out. Like they would use, you know, exactly. So I'm saying like, use the mind to dissolve the mind.
Oh.
Everything, use money, value, everything. Look, money is not a bad thing at all. I don't say like, don't make money. Actually make as much money as you can because, but just don't attach to it or think that this is me and don't make that your life goal or whatever. Because, you know, they say like, for example, in Hinduism, they say if you were a very spiritual person, if you were like a Brahmin or a monk or in the Himalayas meditating, very likely that you'll be born into a very rich family or a family of Brahmins, like healers or whatever else. Because that way, if you want to continue the path in this life, it'll be easier for you. You're not so focused or worried about survival. Your needs are taken care of, so you can focus on that.
So that they would have their needs met, so they can
Exactly. So money's not a bad thing,
going.
right? Like it's an amazing thing. If you have it and you have a ton of it, think about you can not only do things for yourself, you can sponsor 6 other people to be in a program. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like it can be a good thing. You know, use it within the dream.
So you could see yourself, you know, if that's what in Europe doing these things.
Yeah.
And because you have the voice. Like
because you bring up the voice is interesting too, because I don't think about my voice, but I get a lot of DMs of people talking about my voice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like people will message me and be like, "Hey, your voice has some resonance or something."
Yeah, it would really be that way. And I mean, I know because I'm making sure with our time. I mean, this is like great convo because all of it I'm thinking and it's causing me to think of different pathways in my life, like as in, you know, using this time frame, being present, learning how to let go, like that's a journey about going to the next, you know, the next dimensions or the next levels.
I mean, think about it as like, even, you know, I brought this example up to a friend today of like, even someone that I've really worked hard on, like, you know how you, like, there's been somebody in my life that has been such a teacher in a way that like, you know, we don't talk, we ended a friendship, all this, like a 17-year friendship, things like that. Where now I can think back on that person, even though I'm so present most of the time, but if somebody brings this person up or anything like that, and I have so much love for that person. And because and this is what I mean about the illusion of forgiveness makes it even more, it solidifies even more that we are in an illusion. Because when you can forgive that, and little by little, you start to realize like love is real. Everything around it is an illusion. All the stories that we created around it, the love that I've had for that person is eternal. Whatever love I had for them in the greatest height of our friendship is the love I have for them in this moment. Everything else around that is a story that the mind has created, that my mind and their mind came together and created this story that doesn't exist. Everything is false outside of the love. The love that we have for each other is real. Everything else is not.
So,
and I'm going to let all that go. That's a false idol. That's what, again, like the Jesus teachings, he needed Judas. That was such an important key part of his story. He needed that, or else everything else wouldn't have happened. I needed that friend. That friend needed me. We needed to be that betrayer of each other.
Wow.
We needed that. We needed it. And thank you for agreeing to take on that mission, to be that person in my life that would teach me that would trigger the betrayal that I needed to launch everything else. Like, thank you. What an amazing soul mission that you agreed to take on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's very profound. Like I'm thinking about that, you know, because the way it's
because then your greatest enemy becomes your savior.
That's exactly
you see them as your savior.
Heavens, that's a different way to think about it. I want to be mind chewing on this the whole day. Wow, you always give me insight, Frank. Always.
Only because you're ready to receive it, and I'm ready. You know, and I'm ready. Look, what did I say in the very beginning of this? What you share, you keep. So I thank you, because if I don't get to share this, I can't keep it. And so I'm always wanting to share, because what you share, you keep. What you give, you get.
That's why when you said that was a very profound statement to me. I had to learn, like, understand that. Man, okay. So, so how can people, on your website and on your Instagram find your program or find everything about you? Where can they go?
Yeah, so it's all on frankelaridi.com. There's tabs at the top, so they can, if they go to frankelaridi.com, there's like a healer program, it says, but that's Awaken the Healer Within. They can go to that. There's also a website, awakenthehealerwithin.com/join. Or my Instagram, Elaridi, and shoot me a DM or go down the rabbit hole of the content that I put.
I will say when you see Frank's content and you see his life, and I say this truly that you've lived so many lives in the short amount of time on this earth, like as in journalists, exposés, being around people, like traveling. Like I'll see you in Dubai with royalty, and then the next week you're like somewhere doing a retreat where you're using Ayurvedic oils, and you're just like, where is Frank at? But I think it's really profound that you've experienced and you've learned how to cut out the noise.
Thank you. Yeah, I totally have learned to cut it out. And I honestly, like, nothing makes me happier than just, like, all that stuff is amazing, but being at home with my 2 cats in my garden, like, quiet, that's my favorite thing in the world. Yeah. Like, just like going inward, walking around in nature. It's actually really interesting because I live in a condo, and they're all like kind of privately owned condos, and it's beautiful in the Hollywood Hills. And the one that I live in, my actual unit, was Margot Robbie's place. Or I think she lived there with her boyfriend. It was his place before she booked Wolf of Wall Street and then moved into a house. And all my neighbors tell me that's really interesting, but they all say this was like, my astrologer told me before I even moved in there, he said, the next place you're moving into in a few months, and I had not told him anything. I didn't even find the place yet. He described it exactly. Like and he said, the nature there is very sacred ground. So ask it for whatever you want. And so I always wonder if Margot Robbie like ever took walks around there and just asked, for what she wanted, and if nature heard her.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's like, we have great conversations. Always.
I could talk to you all day.
Thinking conversations. You know what I mean? Because I'm one of those, I like to soak up information and such. But man, thank you for doing this, man.
Thank you, brother.
It.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. Honestly, it's like such an honor to be on your show because you're like one of the most humble people I know.
Oh, thank you, bro.
Seriously.
Oh, you're very kind. But I appreciate, because like when you and Sarah Jane, like, and we're out here able to connect with people, I'm just super grateful. Thank you so much. So guys, check out everything that Frank is on Instagram, his website. We always love good insight about ancient health aspects. So guys, let me know what you think. Send me some comments. If you have any more comments or questions, send that to me. From all of us here at the Ancient Health Podcast, thanks guys so much. Take it easy.